So, firstly, I actually want to start off with a concept, right, of luck surface area. But before that, the entire session itself is super intriguing because women empowerment. I mean, I told my mom, right, I'm going to give a session about women empowerment, and she was like, okay, women empowerment ante ఏంట్రా చెప్పరా. I was like, అదే నవీన్ పోలి శెట్టి అంటాడు కదా, ladies empower, empowerment. So maybe that, right? But then I would actually like to give a story about my mom itself and try to connect it with what I've learned. And do not consider me as a finished product. I am not a finished product. Just consider me, just take my pointers, whatever works for you in life, because we're almost in the same age, age group or in the same state. So just take my pointers in as you wish, right? So the first thing is luck surface area. And what does luck surface area even mean? Right? Think of it. Okay, let's. I'll give you an example. Right? Think of it as an umbrella, an upside down umbrella, and how much ever big your umbrella is, and it's raining, your umbrella would catch that much water, right? So that as luck surface area. And now, how do you maximize that luck? Because I honestly believe to do anything in life, you honestly need luck, right? Because I mean, for example, right, Anant Ambani, he did nothing but just be born to Mukesh Ambani, and he has, he's got a net worth of $200 billion. But now, how can you, from coming from nothing, you can actually build something substantial? And I think that's actually luck itself. You might be thinking, okay, why is he talking about luck? Luck is just, it happens, right? It does, but I also think it's mathematical. Luck is a formula, right? And the formula I'd say is luck equals doing multiplied by telling, right? So now let me bring you guys back to an example of my mom, right? 23 years ago, she was educated, and then she got a job in high-tech city cyber towers as an executive who was answering calls to American Express. Right? A call center executive job that time was like 2,000 rupees. That was amazing. 23 years ago, that was like a big deal, right? Because it was the 2000s era. Globalization was happening, and Hyderabad was changing a lot. And guess what happened then? When she joined the job, she had to learn. She knew English. She could speak English, but then she had to refine it so that when you're talking with the West, they had to understand what you're speaking, right? If they won't understand the Indian accent. Just being honest there, right? So you had to refine your English. Why? Because I truly think in India, English is not just a language, it's a commodity. It's a commodity. Yes, you speak English, yeah, you get the job. Yeah. Right? That's exactly what it is, because only when you can communicate your ideas, right now, that's exactly what I'm doing as well. I'm communicating my ideas to you guys, and it's language. And that was one thing she learned. She learned the language. She learned how to use computers. All right? She was working at, I think, Genpact, I guess. Right, cyber towers, high-tech city. That's where she was working, and she got a computer. She was doing the computer job, and I think they had like more. They actually sent out a computer to our house as well, right? So I, as a kid, got a computer, and I was like, damn, okay, now, wow, computer chesindi ippudu. What do we do now? Okay, now, of course, I was playing games, and then I was seeing what my mom was doing. Okay, she was like, okay, typing and stuff. Let me learn how to type. And then my word speed increased. And now what next? Pick up simple programming, HTML or CSS. That was all simple stuff that I was doing. But then it happened. Why did that happen? That was luck. Luck for me was generational. I did nothing, but my mom, who was educated, she went to she did a job, and now that job allowed for bringing a computer in. Now, of course, computers have taken over the world. So what I'm trying to say is, if you actually empower a woman, it actually empowers generations, right? It's not just a woman who's learning, but also her children learn, right? And maybe someday he'll also wear a suit and give a TEDx speech. But yes, that's another story, right? Now that you understand this, how do you access this, right? There are a lot of definitions about women empowerment. I don't know about any other definitions. The only definition I know about women empowerment is simple. Are you bringing money in to yourself? Are you free? You're not depending on anybody else. You're not depending on your mom, your dad, your husband, whoever. You are independently making money by yourself. Yes, I would stress on the point, it is about money. The world runs on money. No matter how much people say, it doesn't, paisal emundi bro. I don't believe it. It is definitely is about money. So if you want an economic stance, you need a family, you want to run a household, it definitely is about being economically well. All right. So now how do you do that? That was my only goal. So how do I do that? Right. In my 12th grade, I was in a school called Oak Ridge, and that also happened because my mom, after her work at this call center, she took a break because I was a child, and then she just came to, I really remember, this is a true story, guys. Second grade, Boinpalli, I was, in a school. And then my mom was just, speaking, my son, yes, this, that, and okay. And then the principal heard, was like, Mom, you actually speak really well English. Like, why don't you do B.Ed? And why don't you join us as an English teacher? She was like crazy. She was mind blown. Okay, sure. I've stopped working at a call center. She still had that experience, and now she could work at a school. And after that, she joined in as an English teacher, and then she moved to Oak Ridge. And then Oak Ridge is like, rich kids, okay? They're all rich kids. Yeah. And I got a really nice concession. We had like 2 years you pay, and then after that, it's all free. So luck again. That's luck again. After that, it was all free education for me. So it was really good. Of course, I had a lot of nice friends, all of that. It's definitely there, like friends of friends. But there was, I remember this guy, okay? He had like really nice soccer shoes. I was like, "Arey bro, enta bro adi? Wow, mastundi shoes." Yeah, just 25,000, bro. My daddy adige, okay, 25,000. That's crazy because when you hear that amount, just sitting on a shoe, because at home you're like, IMI gattali, EMI gattali, and it's the same amount, and then it blows your mind. Like, how is this even fair? How is it fair that he's just wearing? I mean, of course, that's his luck. Good for him, amazing. But how I want that? It's not jealousy. It's how do I replicate that? Because it's good to want more. That's what humans are. We always will want more, right? It's a never-ending need for human beings to just want more, and humans are always expanding. It's definitely there. Okay, so now how do I do that, right? And after that, I understood very very early in life. I understood it's not about formal education. Just being honest, it's not about formal education as I think, because after 12th, my parents were like, okay, now good, now let's go to college, right? And I didn't. I don't want to go to college because I knew that I could do something without college. Why would I need a college? And again, it's a wrong place to be sitting here and tell this to you guys, but I'm just again sharing you my story, all right? I was like, okay, Mari, without college, Mari, ఏం చేస్తావు? Like, what are you gonna do? I was like, okay, I'll just build skills. Gallo medal kartuno, there's so many things that come up, right? And it's true, and it's a very, very a zero-sum game. 100 people try it, it only happens to one. Maybe I'm just the lucky one again. But what happens there is now you start building skills, and because that happened, I was okay, I have to double down on things because without a pedigree, without anything, I want to do something, right? And then I actually started off my own. I started working in a firm. It was a crypto firm, and I was just working there as a head growth marketer. And like, why would they even give a job? Because I was so active on social media. I was so active on LinkedIn. I was posting so much, and they actually liked my work. And something in crypto they call it as proof of work. If you show proof of work, that's much better than a resume, right? And I had that, and that's when I got in. After that, 2 years later, I just started off my own company as well. It was an AI startup, and it was all going well. Like, wow, that's crazy. AI startup, zero funding, but I had like 3 to 4 people were school friends with me, just working on it. And then OpenAI released a new update, which basically collapsed their entire startup because OpenAI ChatGPT can do the exact same thing. But then I was like, okay, damn, like what do we do now? And I was just posting more on social media, just sharing out my story, building in public. And then a private equity firm from San Francisco, they reached out. They were like, hey, I saw your LinkedIn post, and we actually like what you do. We want to acquire you. What do you mean acquire? Like, do you want to like buy our company? They're like, yes, that's what we do. That's what private equity firms do. They buy companies and then they sell companies. So that happened, and we were able to sell it for around like $300,000, and that was like a big number. It's still crazy. It just feels like yesterday. I did have another co-founder, but I own 75% of the company. But once that happened, and when I told my parents, okay, and now they know, okay, when you're economically stable, when you're bringing money in, nobody's going to question you about what your studies are, where you're from. If nothing happens, are you able to add value to the world? If yes, then you're good. That's basically what it is. So now, how do you apply these things? Like, whatever I've shared, how do you apply this? How to apply this, right? Now, when you go back to the story that I share with you guys, when I just said this private equity firm guy, he found me on LinkedIn. How did that happen? Because I posted on LinkedIn. I was super active on all social media platforms. And also, I also got Harshith.com domain, right? There are 500,000 Harshiths in the world, but there's only one Harshith.com. And that was a really expensive domain, by the way. But it helps, right? Sometimes you got to take a leap of faith, and if it really helps for your branding, if it really helps for whatever work you do, then it's good. And then Forbes reached out to me, and they're like, hey, we love what you do. Why don't you join us as a Forbes Technical Council member? I was like, sure, why not, right? I mean, in 12th grade, I still remember, I used Canva to just put my image on, and then, just put something, hey, Harshith is a member of Forbes. And that actually happens. So when you have a goal, and you're super working towards it, it definitely will happen. But I wouldn't just say, okay, just be passionate, just do it, and it will happen. No, there are ways you have to maximize your luck, and that's the honest way of the world, right? You have to post on social media, whatever that is, you have to do that. But now, what do you post? Like, okay, now you get my story, but what do you take away from this? I want to tell you guys about another thing. It's called specialized knowledge, right? Early on, I was able to do all of this because I understood my specialized knowledge. My specialized knowledge is about communicating. It's about sales. Not even sales. I didn't even know what sales was. It was just, okay, I can communicate. I can share my idea. Now, how can I apply the specialized knowledge to something? Then I got into podcasts. You can do podcasts. You can do sales. You can do tech sales. You can do marketing. There's so much you can do. Trust me, I can't code, right? I cannot code. That's not my thing. And every one of you, I'm 100% sure, all of you have a specialized knowledge. And you might not know it, but your friends might say, okay, you know what, you're good at this, bro. Hey, you might know it. I'm being honest, right? All of you have a specialized knowledge, and just, figure out a way to monetize that specialized knowledge, right? Monetize that specialized knowledge. Let's say I've seen a lot of girls, they're, really good at editing photos. Okay, anytime I click a photo, I just, share it with my friend. She just edits that photo, and then she just sends it to me, and then I post it on Instagram. It looks really nice, right? You guys are always on the phone. You guys are always on, using all these nice apps, Snapchat filters, whatever. Now, double down. Snapchat filters, that's okay. That's your specialized knowledge, baby, but that's not monetizable. Double down on things. Okay, two steps ahead. What do you do? Okay, I like this. I like editing photos. Maybe I can try Adobe After Effects. Maybe I can try right now. Even Adobe is doing shit, right? I mean, right now, Nano Banana, which Google just launched. You just prompt anything, you get an image, right? I'm sure you guys have, might have tried that, right? So use these tools. Start using these tools, and imagine now you guys, four or five of you girls could come together. You guys can actually build like an agency. You can build like an agency. It could be a photo editing agency, or a blog writing agency, or just social media handling agency. There's so many ideas you guys can actually do, and you know what? None of this will matter if everything I just speak and you're like, okay, yeah, nice claps, it's done. No, make sure to actually apply these, and that's when it'll only matter, because your association has done a really nice job organizing such an amazing event, and only when you apply these, that's when it'll truly matter, right? That's the only thing I actually wanted to say. And in the end, I would just say, you can just do things, right? You can literally just do things. We're living in the amazing time in history where all you need is a laptop, a phone. You can connect with people based in the US or startups based in the US, because of course they'll pay you in dollars. It's amazing. So go ahead, right? Go ahead, reach out to them. Write emails. Get better at drafting emails. Get better at blogs. All of that, right? And I think that's what true women empowerment is. Just be free. Just you can survive on your own, and you don't have to depend on anybody else. I think that's basically my session. So thank you all. I hope you can take some. Yeah.